So again, I need to press my fabric. I measured about 3 inches above the shoulder point, not the neck, but the shoulder point, because this is higher than here. And then about 3 inches below, and then I do a little extra from the widest part on here. Okay, I got a piece of fabric, I ripped it all the way across, already cut the selvage off, so I'm not going to show you how it was blocked from this side, because I cut the selvage off and we don't have that reference. I'm doing it here from the rib side. So we put it on the table and it's like, whoop, beautiful, right? Okay.
How many inches did you fold it?
1. You want to do 5, you can do 5. It's just as long as they are even, okay? So, great question. So I fold in 1 inch and I press it. So that would be my center back. And then I cut off the selvage. I don't want to keep the selvage because in some fabrics it would stretch out, in some fabrics it would pull in. So you don't want that tension. You don't want to rip it, because just by the fact of ripping it, the weave is going to stretch out, okay? So nothing of this, and by the way, don't think that just because it's ripped like this is the grain line, okay? The grain line is the length of the fabric, not the rip, okay? Fabrics that are woven, you can rip it across the grain line on the grain line, okay? That's why I'm showing you here that it's blocked. So after I have this ready, I'm going to place it right here, leaving those few inches at top and bottom, and I'm going to measure where the waist is. I mentioned last class that you should use the bottom of the ribbon, but I've known that some of you have used the top. Keep using the top if you did it before. You need that consistency, okay? Do not do 2 notches. I know that some teachers like to do 2 notches. We don't do 2 notches because 2 notches means what? Crickets. The back, right? So we do 2 notches on the back. We do 1 single notch in the front. If you're gonna do 2 notches all around the waist, then you're gonna be confused. Is this the back or this is the front? Right? So that's why I wanted you guys to use the bottom of the ribbon. But if you are going to be using or have used it on the front, the top of the ribbon, keep using the top of the ribbon, because otherwise it's not going to work out. Okay? So now that I have that, I'm going to get the L square, okay? And I'm going to draw the waistline. Look, I've been doing this for so long that I'm doing it without glasses. Let's put on glasses. Whew, I can see. Okay. Anyway, I'm doing this side, so I should have done my waist on this side, not on that side. Right? Okay. I wasn't painted. You know why? Because all my life, I always drape this side, and for some reason I put the tape on the other, so it confused me. So automatically I'm like auto mode, right? Anyway, so let's do the same thing. We're gonna ignore this for now, right? So just so you guys don't get confused later on, this line was a mistake. Do not count it.
That was the lesson?
Huh?
That was the lesson?
Well, it was my waist, but I measured the wrong side of the bodice. So that's why fabric was upside down. So this is, let's do it in French, le waistband, waistline. Yeah, anything that you put, anybody speaks French? Anybody French or politically correct? Just put a le in front of it, it becomes French. Even though a lot of the terminology that we're going to be using on parts of the draping or parts of a body, they do come from French language, because They self-given themselves haute couture, right? Like they invented it. Anyway, what would be the next thing that we do? We're gonna measure from the center back to where the first seam is here, so we can decide where this dart is going to be, okay? Remember that the dart in the front, it measures 1 inch. The one in the back measures 1.5 inches. Why is that? Why are we making this dart deeper? Again, I'm gonna use French because of le booty, right? So you have a much sharper curve in the back, okay? You like my term, le booty? You can use it. I just patented it. So from here to here on my mannequin or my dress form, it measures 3. So you guys had this question before. So I'm gonna mark where that is, the 3 mark. So it's from here to here. This dart is gonna have 1.5 inches depth, okay? Now I'm gonna measure half of the 1.5. And I know you are magnificent mathematicians, so that is 3/4, right? So now I'm gonna measure from the center back to the center of the dart, and I'm going to copy that measurement, so it's 3 3/4, 3 3/4. This is the center of the dart. And I'm going to draw, why is not matching? I'm gonna draw the center of the dart. I don't know how long it's gonna be, okay? I do know that when we did the skirt, how long was the dart in the skirt? In the back 5, in the front 3, in the back 5. Again, because of le booty, right, is the longer dart, okay? In the front, you don't want to have a bubble. You want it to just softer on the front, okay? I don't know how high it's gonna be. I'm gonna show you that when we get here, okay? I keep thinking that I'm doing the wrong side, but I just realized that I'm using the other side. And I don't know if you guessed this, I'm super tall, okay? And that's why I raised my dress form, okay? I'm sorry if your dress forms don't go up, but I find that it's easier for me to work if I have it at my eye level rather than looking down or looking up. I can actually judge my design on itself, okay? So I do know that this is gonna close 1.5 inches. So I'm gonna go ahead and pin right at the waist, my 1.5 inches. And this is the preparing of this. Now we're gonna mount it into the dress form. So I'm gonna place it right here in the center back and make sure that my line is under the ribbon because that's what I did on the front. Okay, can you see it? Yep. And I'm gonna pin it from there down. And again, I don't want you to put 11 million pins, but 2 pins is not enough, okay? You want that line to not move from the center back or center front of the dress. So if you see that she's kind of arched right here, see that we end up having a gap right here. So that definitely requires more pins in there. Because I don't want it to have a gap in there. I don't know, in my head I think it's like a little bridge, right? And if you know geometry, if you go in a diagonal, then the distance is much shorter than longer or right. So now I'm gonna pin all the way to the top. Now remember when we did the front, we lowered the neckline 3/4 of an inch. In the back, we're gonna do it exactly where the seam of the dress form is for the neck. So we're gonna go right up here. Cool? So I know how long this dart is gonna be, not on the flat paper, but on the dress form. So remember that we did 1 inch below the plate for the armhole? Your dart in the back is going to be 1 inch below your armhole. So if my armhole is going to be right here, okay, it's right, can't see. Okay. Can you see it from there? You're Superman, you have X-ray vision, right? So my dart is going to end 1 inch below this, okay? So right here. So before I start pinning anything, you know, it's much easier at the back because, I don't know if you guys noticed, but you don't have back breasts. So your back is much flatter, right? Even though my old sample maker, she used to. I used to tease. I was really young. I was just out of school and we're recording this, so anyway. But I used to tell her every time she come and talk to me, she's like, please face me when you're talking to me. She goes, I'm facing you. And she says, oh, I thought it was your back breast. Anyway, I was really mean. I used to tell her that she used to buy 2 bras and then sew them on the sides. I mean, you guys know that 75% of American women wear the wrong size bra, right? Sex and the City had a whole show about it, right? All right, so just a reminder, the depth of the dart goes towards the center front, okay? I cannot do things by inertia because I've been doing them for so long. I just want to remind you of that. You should change you two. Your hair matches his shirt. You should cut your hair head and put it on his. Anyway, sorry. So here that I know where this dart is going to end, I'm going to go ahead and do this dart up to here. Make sure you don't do what I'm actually doing right now, that I'm actually creating a little pleat at the end. This should be completely flat at this point. Completely flat. See that? The dart ends exactly there. So now that I have the dart at the bottom, right? This is going to be so much easier to drape than the other one. Did you find a chair?
No, I just literally can't see.
Oh, you can't see. Okay. And remember, the depth of the dart goes towards the center back. And then the one at the top, from the waist up, again, it ends completely flat at the top. So I can go ahead and pin this dart completely. So kind of like a rule of thumb, if you have a dart that is completely straight, like this one, because it's going to be a perfect diamond, right? Anybody remembers what a dart in the middle of a garment is called, that it looks like a diamond? Fisheye dart. Perfect. Thank you. So when I want to transfer into paper, that is going to be done with ruler perfectly. Okay? So now that we have the dart completely done, yep. Everybody good? Now I'm going to go into my prominent places. So where is the most prominent place? The indentation of the waist. So I'm going to pull this in and I make sure that the line of the waist, it goes right under the ribbon. Now notice that I'm pulling, but it's not tremendously tight, okay? And remember that we have this cording here, so, stop it. So we're gonna pin it outside of that cording. Okay? I don't know about you guys, but some people, when they get your piece on their food, you Eat them first because you want to, no, actually the opposite. You eat what you like and then you leave what you don't want. See, your parents will change your mind and they don't, you still have to eat it. I'm the opposite. I leave the good stuff at the end so I can have a good taste. So what is the easiest thing to do right now is from the waist down. So as we did before, I'm going to slash this about an inch to where the waist should be. Okay, I'm going to put a pin here so it's not on our face. Okay, and then now I'm going to do from the waist down. See that pulling it? How it ends the dart right there? Okay, if it's a little pokey here, a little pointy, that's okay. When we sew it, we're going to round it out so it look a little smoother. So now I'm going to pin from the waist down. Notice that I'm pinning exactly where I need it. Don't pin it here, don't pin it here. Pin it exactly where I need it. And then here on the bottom, I want that straight line on the hip. See that? Do not pin along this line because if you pin along this line, you are already defining that that's the length of it. And then you're gonna actually adding ease to it, okay? Now, this looks a little ugly to me, so I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna pull it a little bit more. See how it goes away? Right? I might need to put another pin in here. I think this one is yours. You're the one with the yellow heads on the pins. All right, now that I did from the waist down, now I'm going to pin it up to the underarm. Remember we measure 1 inch below the plate, okay? So I'm gonna pull it up to that. Now you can go softer. You don't have to pull it too tight. You can do all of these and then you can reassess, and if you need to pull more, then you can go back and readjust it, okay? So I'm going to start pulling here and see how those wrinkles are disappearing. It's getting flatter. Oh my God. I don't understand either. Where's my phone? Siri thinks that I'm talking to you. Whatever. Now, you see that wrinkle there? I can't pull it to the side. It's not doing anything. It's still there. So where do I need to pull it to make it disappear? Actually, to the top. See that? And I'll be able to get rid of it. Yes? Okay. So from there, I'm going to now, I can work on the top, right? So now I'm going to pull up to the HPS, the shoulder, the highest point shoulder, between the roundness of the neck and the shoulder line. Now, you see that I have those wrinkles? Right? So I'm gonna cut it a little bit closer. And then I'm going to snip. Try to not snip all the way through to the line. Snip about 1/2 inch away. And now I notice that, okay. So notice that there is a little gap in there. So now that I released it, I'm going to reassess that and I'm going to push it back again. So see, now I have a smooth neck. Yes? Okay. So now I go up on the shoulder, and you guys remember, let me cut some of these off so you don't see. So you guys can see better. I always like to leave some fabric just in case I need to move it, but then if there is too much, then you need to cut it away. Now, you guys remember when you did your other pattern, you had a shoulder dart, right? I'm actually going to eliminate it because that's the beauty of draping. See, I can move it and ease the fabric in, and I have a smooth shoulder without a dart. Beautiful? So here is the seam. So yes, you do need to cut and snip a little bit. Be careful. It's always better that you cut slowly than you cut too much and then you regret that there is no fabric anymore. Okay? So do it slowly. If it's not enough, then you do go more and more. Yes? So how does that look? Beautiful, right? I didn't finish. We need to transfer this now into pencil so we can actually transfer it into paper, right? See, I told you this is much faster because we already know how to drape. So we're gonna get the pencil and I'm gonna copy the neck exactly as is. I'm gonna copy the shoulder. If I had a dart, I could had a notch to match the other side, right? But I'm gonna keep the notch in there and just it doesn't bother me to have extra notches, right? Now, as we did on the front, see that this drops straight up to here and then from here, it turns to the underarm, okay? So it's just like if you look at my jacket. This is the outer part of the sleeve. These are the two under parts of the sleeve. If we were to get a sleeve and fold it in four, the outside quarters will be the underarm and the outside quarters will be the outside of the arm. Kind of to have an idea on how to do it. So I'm gonna copy exactly on the edge up to that point. And then I'm going to round it up to, this is where the knot, here is where the pin is. I'm going to round it up to my inch below the plate. Now, this is a really jaggedy, it looks like I had an earthquake when I copied that line, right? Don't worry about it. We're going to use rulers to clean this up, okay? And then we're going to repin it. Put it in here to make sure that the muslin fits well, okay? Just because you draped it doesn't mean that it's perfect. You need to check it, right? A good draping, you're gonna end up checking at least 4 times, okay? So we're gonna walk and we're gonna true and we're gonna walk again and we're gonna get our 10,000 steps today. We're good? All right, so here I have a notch for the waist. Here, I'm going to mark the outside of that cording. I have the notch of my waist in there. I'm going to continue down, and then I'm going to mark, I think I mark on the other one, the bottom of my tape. I'm going to do the same. Okay? The dart, I'm not too worried. I just want to know where it ends and where it starts. And we know where the two sides are, and I'm actually going to draw it with a ruler, so it'll be perfectly straight. Okay? So, that's it. So I'm gonna get it out of the dress form. So I can show you guys what we did. See how it has a booty shape? Right? So when I get this pins out of here, I will get the ruler and I'm going to draw the fish eye dart. So I'm gonna let you guys work on this. I'm gonna clean it up with you in a little bit. We're gonna repin it, put it in the dress form to check it. And if it's okay, we transfer it into paper.